I'm Drew.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Laura.
And this is our pop culture movie podcast.
I love this entirely visual gag that
I
you've
know.
done on our podcast.
I did this just for you two.
Okay, I love it.
I
For
had
the listeners, Drew's got the longest fucking
Gandalf
Gandalf pipe I've ever seen in my life.
I got this for free and couldn't not get it just so I could do this gag in front of you both. And I'm very
Love it.
happy of the results.
I wish
love
you told
it.
me. I would have put on my elf ears and my wizard and my robe.
I didn't want to ruin the excitement.
And I would have done nothing.
Exactly. Hi, everybody. So yeah, you know what this podcast is by now, and we thank you for listening. And of course, you know, for some reason, if you don't know, we're a movie podcast. It's been a few weeks since the Academy Awards, and you know, it's tradition for us to, if one of us has not seen the movie that won Best Picture, then we watch that movie. And we were going to do that today, but then we realized a certain special day was coming around the corner, and that is April Fool's. And we saw an opportunity, and I'm going to hand that opportunity directly over to Brian. Tell us what's going on today, Brian.
Yeah. What you may call opportunity, I call responsibility. And with responsibility comes great power. And I looked through the web of time and saw the 2024 Best Picture winner as announced, where Al Pacino gets his second shot in 2025.
His redemption.
His redemption. And today we will be watching 2024's Best Picture, Madam Web.
Oh, I can just see it already. I can already see it.
I'm excited.
And I see with my eyes Madam Web.
Everyone's just confused and clapping.
They'd be extra confused for this one.
I do think you are right about one thing. I think it will win the Best Picture for the Razzies.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
That probably makes more sense. Maybe
Yes.
my future sight is a little off.
But Madam Web, man.
Madam Web, I'm
stoked.
so excited to see this. I saw this in theaters not too long ago.
But like,
I just
why?
wanted to be a part of it, you know? And I've seen a lot of superhero movies, and this one felt like it would feel like one of those classic early 2000s Spider-Man like movies, or like really old superhero movies, which I have a strong nostalgia for. Like some of the first movies that like I loved as a kid were like the early 2000s Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies.
Sure.
The really bad Fantastic Four movies. And
Yes.
it just seemed like fun. It just seemed like a fun thing to do. And it didn't seem like maybe as dark as like some of the other Sony stuff that they put out. So I wanted to see it, and I was excited about it. But neither of you have seen Madam Web yet.
No.
Correct.
I
I
never
know-
would have either, willingly.
I know. I love that, Laura. I know a bunch of the. I know a bunch of things about it. I don't know
Okay.
enough to tell you a coherent plot. But I know enough about it because of, you know, from day one when the first trailer came out, and the most iconic movie line of all time was debuted. I know, like, and I know when it came out, the bad reviews and just watching Dakota Johnson do her like promotional interviews for this movie was telling enough about how bad this was going to be. When you have your main star just not caring at all, and just seems like she doesn't want to be in any interview.
To be fair, she's a modern day Harrison Ford. I don't know that. I don't think she wants to be in anything.
I think you may be onto something. Her interview style is very Harrison Fordish. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know. I don't give a fuck about this nerd. Get out of my face.
Yeah.
She's got a
Yeah.
very like Harrison Ford attitude about stuff. Laura,
Yeah.
do you know anything about this movie?
So the only way that I know anything about it is it somehow infiltrated my TikTok algorithm, and I did see how much Dakota Johnson hated it, how she
Yeah.
was confused that she thought she was in the Marvel universe,
Yes.
but is not. And a lot of Sydney Sweeney on my TikTok, which is of my own doing, but because I love her. But so that I wasn't mad about. But that's really all I know. Yeah, and that it was just bad is what the vibes I'm getting.
Awesome.
But in a funny way to like. I saw a TikTok of a theater watching it, and just they said they laughed the entire time.
Yes.
They just
okay, good.
ripped on it like the whole time. So I'm ready for this. Yeah.
Brian, is this the kind of movie we will just rip on like throughout? Like
I'm anticipating it.
excellent. Thank God.
I think so. I think, and I'm going to give you my feelings on it up front, and I'm not saying this to like bias you in any way. I do think that deep down there was a good movie, and I don't like blame anyone except for maybe the director and probably the producers. I think that like somewhere deep down someone cared, and that got lost in rewrites and reshoots and people not really wanting to like take a risk, and in doing so kind of created this. But there are little like moments that peek throughout, so I'm very curious to see, like, I'm very much so looking forward to like our favorite moments at the end.
Love this. I'm ready.
Yeah, I think we had talked about this in a prior episode before the movie came out. Like the pitch for this sounded cool.
Yeah,
it was like literally like, here's the pitch.
Yeah,
Final Destination meets a Spider-Man movie without Spider-Man in it, but like with Spider-Man characters. So it's like a superhero movie, but with the concept sort of Final Destination, where somebody is seeing like the way someone dies or people die, and they're trying to change that.
Yeah, see, that sounds really cool to me. I would be
also
into
heard
that.
It pitched, like, feeling wise, they wanted it to feel like the game.
Yes, okay.
The, like 1990s, like a thriller like thing, and that also would have been cool.
Yeah.
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 Okay, so
what do you
this
have
movie
for us?
Was directed by someone named S.J. Clarkson, which I'm not familiar with at all. It looks like they've done a bunch of TV stuff. They did an episode or two of Succession. Apparently an episode of Succession that people really like. I've not seen Succession yet. They directed a few episodes of The Defenders and Jessica Jones, which are Marvel Netflix properties, which is probably why they landed this gig. The screenplay was by two folks. I forgot the other person. One of them is Burke Sharpless and Matt Sazama.
Never heard of them.
Yeah, but here's the best part. You say the screenplay is by two people, but in reality, it probably had like 6 different writers on it.
There's a few writers on here, yeah.
Yeah, from what I understand, like the Writers Guild will generally give you the first person who touched it the credit, and the last person who touched it the actual credit. We don't know what was in between, and I can imagine there was a lot in between.
Well, these two are a pair. They've written a few movies together.
Okay.
Matt Sazama and Burke Sharpless. I think the first one that they did was a screenplay for a movie called Dracula Untold.
I feel like I remember
from like 2014.
Is that the one with Luke?
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about, like
Luke Evans.
Yeah, Luke Evans. Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That was bad. All right.
Yeah. They also did a movie. This one they got a written by credit on, which Bram Stoker got a writing credit on the screenplay for Dracula Untold, which I just think is very funny. They also did a movie called The Last Witch Hunter, featuring Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel?
Yep.
Yeah, that was a bad movie.
Yeah. You know, Elijah Wood and Michael Caine were in that movie too.
That's a very weird mix of people.
Sometimes you do what you got to do for a paycheck.
Yeah.
They also did a movie called Gods of Egypt in 2016.
Wait, with the guy
Butler?
from Game of Thrones?
Yep.
Nikolai. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a bad movie.
Chadwick Boseman was also in that movie, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, he played Thoth, the Egyptian god Thoth. Okay, so not fans of any of those movies yet. Y'all check out the 2017 Power Rangers movie?
Actually, I did.
Okay.
And it was fine. That was all right. That was okay.
Nice.
Like, not great, but like that was
Yeah.
okay. You had what's his name from Stranger Things? Billy from Stranger Things was like the lead in
Okay,
that.
that could be cool. I wouldn't mind that.
I don't know if you both really remember all the details of Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl, but Earl was in that too. He was one of the Power Rangers.
Okay, yeah.
I like that kid. He's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He was also in the Book of Clarence earlier this year with.
I really wanted to watch that.
Yeah, I remember you were trying to get into that one, but okay, so like that's the first one you've said that is like it had good intentions and it nearly delivered, but was still not great. But okay.
And they did one more movie in between that one and this one, and that was Morbius, which was the previous Sony non-Spider-Man Marvel movie.
Oh, okay. Then I definitely didn't see that.
So pretty good team that they put together for this film.
I like how they didn't give up on each other. They just keep working together.
Yeah.
Like,
there's another podcast that I listen to where they only watch flops, and one of the hosts of that is also a writer, and he was on the picket line during the writer's strike with Matt Sazama, and and he was like, "Oh, hey man, like you're a writer, you've done some cool stuff. We're doing one of your movies on our podcast that's about flops." He's like, "Oh yeah, you've probably done a lot of my movies on your podcast." He's like, "No, man, I'm sure you've got some good stuff. What have you done?" And he's like, "Dracula Untold." And he's like, "Okay, yeah, no, we did that one." And just went through the list, and they've done all of his movies on their flop podcast. So. But they seemed like genuinely cool guys. And a lot of what happens is that they're not big enough. So there are other writers on these credits that are like changing stuff, and they're also not big enough writers to where like the studio cares if they wrote something and they say, you know what, we're shooting this different than what was written or whatever.
Right.
So
yeah,
stuff just changes over time.
Yeah, they're not like Christopher Nolan status where Nolan gives you notes, you don't give Nolan notes. Yeah.
Yep. Cool. So very little about it. It sounds like you know that Dakota Johnson and Sydney Sweeney are in it. Is there anything else you know about the movie before we jump into like some questions?
There's another. Is it like 3 main females, or is it just the 2?
I think
there's more than the 2.
I think there's 4. There's one main character, and then there's 3 like very important characters. What I pretty sure I know about it is that she is, from what I remember the previews, she's a paramedic.
Okay. And
something has happened to her, maybe a near-death experience, I think, and she suddenly unlocks this ability to see the possibility of people dying in the future or something. And she sees these 3 girls that she is associated with, like somehow. Like I remember one girl's like, don't we live in the same building or something like that? And like, so she like knows these 3 girls. I don't know if they're orphans or something weird. Like, I don't know if that's like a thing still, like where you're like, oh, I'm an orphan. I don't think people like just openly say like, I'm an orphan, you know, but like, I
think you're asking if orphans were a thing. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure.
No, the orphan,
that's what I was like.
But like, I don't think it's just like how it's talked about in the film. You don't usually hear like you might hear like someone was orphaned, but you don't hear like, that little Annie orphan over there. You know, you don't hear that. So
get out of here, you little orphan.
I think she sees these 3 people, and in her mind, she sees someone specifically is targeting them, and she's trying to stop it. And that's when she realizes that he's the guy who was with her mom when she was studying spiders in the Amazon before she died. So it's like this sort of almost like also like the Terminator, like running away from this force that's very specifically trying to target these 3 women. And then I know from things I've seen online, there's another side character actress who they try to plant a seed how Spider-Man is involved in this. And then of course the great Adam Scott is in this. I hear he does okay in this movie.
Wow. Nice.
I
That's
know
like
nothing.
the basics. That's probably, but like I couldn't tell you what. Like I've seen in the preview, there's a subway scene. Yeah. I've seen there's a diner. Like I don't know what happens other than that.
Cool. Anything else to that, Laura?
Nope. I got nothing.
Probably learned some stuff there.
I was trying, and no, not like offending you, Drew, but I was trying not to listen, so I don't know anything going into this movie.
You're fine.
Yeah.
There's still so much more to learn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So, what do you all know about the character Madam Web, if anything?
I think she shoots webs.
Shoots webs.
Not much. I
Yeah.
think she's in the comics. I think she was older when we meet her. I think she's I don't know. I don't want to say this badly, but just like Madam is like usually like an older,
yeah.
like, you know,
Mhm.
so I think she was like older, gray hair. I think like that.
Oh, she's not one of the girls.
I think she is, but she's like the lead, I guess, or
Okay.
the one like I don't know with the other three what happens or what their storyline
Gotcha.
is, but she's the one who sees this thing, and it's I don't know why a spider makes her see the future, but but like what she sees is like also I don't know if it's interdimensional or multiversal or if it's just strictly like I can see these multiple futures. I guess that would be kind of multiversal though, right? If I see multiple futures of one person, I don't know. So
so we think Madam Web, a little bit older, shoots webs, can kind of have visions of things, and it's either like time-based or multiversal based.
Right. But I think in the movie, for the sake of like, you know, an executive is like, yeah, I don't want this old broad. Let's make her sexy and younger. And like they try to get somebody younger. So like Dakota Johnson is like Madam Web.
They just had guts to just cast like Helen Mirren or something.
Like, come on, this movie would have shot through the roof. Like Helen Mirren's running away, and like she was in a Fast and Furious movie. She can drive a car.
Yeah,
like let's let her be. She's like the paramedic who's about to retire. She's like, I'm much too old for this shit. Like, you know what I mean? Anyway.
Very good.
Love it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What time frame? Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I do know out of the three other girls, we know like I know Sydney Sweeney's one of them, and I know she is Julia Carpenter, I think is the name, who is Spider Woman in the comics, but I don't think she becomes Spider Woman in this movie.
Okay, you don't think we'll see a Spider Woman here?
I do, but I don't think she becomes Spider Woman. Okay. I think there's like again with how she can see future forward stuff. I think that's where we see these other Spider Women, but I don't know any of the other ones. I just know specifically Julia Carpenter is Spider Woman. So I think that's Sydney Sweeney.
Cool.
Laura, what were you going to say?
I lost it.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay. You were talking about time period as well.
Yeah. So what time frame do we think this movie takes place in? Is this a modern day flick? Is this a period piece?
I want Laura to answer this because I know some of the back end producing arguments about the time period. So I know this already based on like a problem they had with the filming.
I was gonna say present day, but that makes me think that it's not. Oh, well, if they're like seeing into the future. So I think that they're looking into the future. I wonder how far into the future they're looking. If it's like only like a week away or like very far into the future. So maybe like 50s.
Oh, shit. 50s. Wild.
I don't know. No,
I
don't think so though, because I've seen pieces of it, so I don't think so.
Okay.
Maybe like 80s.
Okay.
Or 90s. I'm all over the place. I don't.
I like where you're going with this. Cover them all. Go to
maybe
70s.
90s. Let's go to 90s. I'm going to stick with 90s.
Okay.
Sticking to 90s.
Yep. Just so we can cover all bases, Brian, I'm going to say the 60s, 70s, and early 2000s.
I just had to talk it out, okay? No. I got where I wanted my final answer.
So,
Laura, no matter what, we'll be right because we covered.
I'm only saying 90s. I'm only saying 90s.
Okay.
if this movie takes place in the 90s, Laura, what kind of things do you think will show up to like tease us about the time frame? What are some 90s things you think we'll see on screen?
Like old cell phones.
Yes, I was gonna say like a giant one.
Yeah.
Like the big cell phone.
I'm thinking like Saved by the Bell. Like,
Yes.
what else did they have? Maybe like what
like the cast of Saved by the Bell will show up?
Yeah, Mark Paul Gosselaar is going to be there. Mario Lopez.
But not digitally de-aged.
Yeah. Maybe some like old school video games or something.
I love it.
Like
a Nintendo. Someone's playing Nintendo or a Sega.
Yeah, I was thinking
No,
like
no, wait.
like a
It's
Game
Sony.
Boy.
It's Sony,
Oh, yeah,
so
it's gotta
a
be a Sony
PlayStation.
product.
It would have to be like a PlayStation, yeah.
I don't know why I was thinking of Tamagotchis, but I think I was talking to somebody about Tamagotchis today.
That would be
randomly,
cool.
So it's in my head.
Maybe like if they're like Madam Web is visiting someone's house and they're like, yeah, let me pop that VHS in, or they're like, honey, we bought a Sony DVD player. Like, you know, maybe we'll get a VHS or a DVD player. We won't get a flat screen TV. We might get a
product
big screen.
placements. Yeah,
right. We might get a boxed TV, but we'll definitely see like a boxed TV. And what other silly things will we see from the 90s? I'm pretty sure if it's Spider-Man related, it takes place in New York City, so we'll probably see like the 90s ish what's the big fucking touristy thing in
Times
Manhattan?
Square.
Times Square, yeah, but it'll be like Cats is like the
Yeah.
big thing playing, or some bullshit like that.
Okay.
What?
Times Square bullshit.
Yeah, Times Square's bullshit. Like before, it was really cleaned up. So like, you know, there's like
Dirty.
crime right out on the street and shit.
Dirty New York.
Oh, old cars. Like we'll see like those like we're not gonna get fucked up and see like a car from like today. We're gonna see like they'll have like the appropriate cars. So we'll see a couple boats, like not actual boats, but you know, like big ass cars, the boat cars. We'll probably see some fucking yuppies, like some fucking like Wall Street yuppies who are like, hey babe, get out of the way, babe. And like, you know, whistling at fucking people and shit like that.
Oh, there'll definitely be some cat calling.
Yes, cat calling. And then, you know, like Dakota Johnson, to show that she can hold her own, she'd be like something like, you know, I don't know, say some stupid line back at him that like shuts them all up. Like, you can look, but you can't touch. And they'll be like, whoa, like, you know, some weird shit like that.
I love it. What kind of so you said we'll see some web slinging, we'll see some future stuff. Any other powers you think are going to show up in this superhero movie?
Super strength. A lot of jumping. There's going to be a lot of big jumping. I don't know how much web slinging we'll see. I think we're going to see a lot of like spider jumpies and super strength.
I think we'll get some thwips.
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think so. But I think one thing that bothered me from the preview, and I hope it's in the movie, is whoever this bad guy is, like on the subway scene where she sees like something happen on the subway, he's walking on the subway train barefoot, and that just upsets me like beyond belief because of how dirty. So I'm like, I think we're going to see this guy barefoot a lot, and I don't like that. I don't like it at all. Oh, do you know what else I think? I think this bad guy is going to have like, he'll be like rich and he'll have like a penthouse or something in New York City, but I think he's going to have a way too high tech, like workstation, like way too high tech for the 90s. I like Bruce Wayne level tech. And I'm going to be like, bullshit. That's not out yet. I don't give a shit. You fucking have a like holographic, or you have a fucking map of all New York City, just like holographic map on your fucking computer, multi-computer displays that are probably flat screen, even though I specifically said in the 90s they didn't have flat screen technology. You watch. Shit's going to happen.
What do you think? Let's get into the villain a little bit. What do you think his like deal is?
So it is a he.
The only thing we know about him is that he was with her mother in the Amazon when she was researching spiders right before she died.
Yeah. He was in the Amazon with her mother researching spiders right before she died.
So why does he have a beef?
Why does he?
Did he kill the mother?
Oh shit.
And he's
He
trying to
killed the
cover it up.
mother.
Was the mother pregnant and she got bit by a spider? Is that why, like, she sees shit?
I'm assuming the kid was already born.
Maybe. Because that would make more sense. Like, why would
The
she...
spider
like,
killed her?
Well, maybe. How else
Or
wouldn't she?
he killed her, and then also the spider bit her? And she was
yeah,
pregnant?
I think... That's what I think. He was in the Amazon.
What's the order of a...
I know, like,
What's
the
the order
baby
of
had to
events
come
there?
before any of this.
Okay, so he wants her dead for some reason.
Yeah,
Maybe he wants to take a specimen home, and she's like, "You can't do that." And he's like, I work for this company." It's sort of like a Terminator 2, like they want to keep the arm. They find something like, but it's dangerous, but we're gonna take it back anyway. It's sort of like arachnophobia, but like anyway. So then she's like, "No, you can't do that." And then as he's like pushes her into a tree, a spider bites her, and then she like dies from the spider bite or her head hitting the tree. But like the venom, like, well, oh my god, are we gonna see one of those shots where in a like a Spider-Man movie shot where someone gets bit and then we'll travel into their body to see the venom go like into their body and disperse and through cellularly?
Wait, I'm so confused on
Why we're even in the Amazon? I don't know either.
No, so the mother got bit but died.
I don't know if
but
this
the
is true.
baby was
I'm
born
guessing.
after she died.
I assume maybe she was pregnant, like 9 months pregnant, so she shouldn't have even traveled in the first place.
Oh,
Or maybe
okay.
8 months. And she's like probably a photographer or a scientist. I don't know. But they're in the Amazon. They're researching spiders. There's probably like, there was, oh my God, this is a new species of spider. And there's a little fight and she,
Gotcha.
gets, and then the spider bites her, but she still hits a tree, gets concussed, dies. I don't know, but like the spider venom goes in, so that's why she's special. But and like, oh, she's dead. Let's save the baby. Like, I don't know.
What was the question, Brian?
That's a
I
very
just said,
good
what's the
point.
deal with this villain?
Okay.
So he gets bit by a spider too, because why does he have spider powers? Like big jumpy
So
spider.
he
powers.
also gets bit. So the spider comes down and
Definitely.
bites both of them.
Different
She
spider.
dies. He doesn't. Different
Correct.
spider.
Yep. Well,
But
she
the-
dies because of the concussion when he pushed her into a tree.
Okay. How does so then she gets a concussion, dies, gets bit by a spider. How does
Yeah.
the baby get to New York from the Amazon?
From the other people in the science.
Okay.
Oh
there's
shit,
other-
she's
there's
an
other
orphan
people
too. Little orphan Dakota. Shit.
there. Little orphan Dakota.
Yeah.
Do
So
you think there's 4 orphans?
yeah, I do. But yeah, so she's with her science group, and they bring the baby back, and that's why. Oh, I wonder if that's also why she becomes like, I think she's a paramedic or a doctor or something. Maybe that's why she has like a complex. She needs to save people because she couldn't save her mom because like her mom died when she was helpless. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
That would be
I'm
a
getting
cool.
deep now.
that'd
This
be
is
a
what
cool
the
character
writers
backstory.
wanted us to do, to go really
To
deep.
really think about it.
Yeah.
Laura, do you agree with this backstory so far?
I thought he actually knew what the story was, and that's what he was talking
No.
about.
No, I have a feeling.
So that's
I'm
why I was
close.
asking clarifying questions. Like, wait, okay, I didn't know this was an assumption.
No.
So I just think, yeah, I'm trying to figure out why he's. I think it's one of those typical, like, he just wants all the power. So whatever powers these girls have, he just wants to harness it and like have it be his.
Yeah,
Mm.
I think in the trailer, I think I remember him saying like, telling like Dakota Johnson or somebody, you don't know what they become, so maybe he can see and needs to stop it, or thinks he
Oh.
needs to stop it. I don't know why he would want to. More the merrier, I guess. But maybe he killed all their moms. Oh shit!
He's just a mom killer.
But maybe he knew the future of all these spider women and was like, if I kill all their moms, they won't be born. But they're all like 9 months pregnant when he kills them all. And they all have the babies anyway. This would be fucking dumb if that's the case, though. Okay. Okay. That's cool.
Do you think this villain has like a do you think that we're gonna try to like him at all? Like they'll give us like a tragic like this is but this is why he's doing what he's
Yeah.
doing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think they'll try. I just don't think we will connect and like him.
No.
I think we're going to be like, this guy's a fucking dumbass.
He's probably like a failed scientist
Oh,
of
please,
like
yes.
it's gonna be something that's you're just like, okay, boo hoo. Like that happens to a lot of people. Like he didn't have his dream life that he planned.
That makes sense. I
Yeah.
have one more question about the villain before we move on to like just a couple more questions that I have.
Okay.
In what way does our villain like to kill women specifically?
Oh Jesus.
Oh no.
I almost just said when we were talking when you just asked like his backstory, I was almost said like he just hates women. Like that's what I feel like this vibe is going to
Like
be.
most villains.
Yeah.
Our villain hates women.
He just specifically hates women. I don't think there's really a reason. He just sucks.
He just sucks.
So wait, how he kills them?
Yeah.
It's got to be spidery.
The vast majority of the women that we see him murder in this movie,
Holy
he
shit,
kills in one
okay.
particular way.
Is he a spider villain? Like, is he like spidery powers?
I think he has powers.
You think he's got
I'm pretty
spider
sure he
powers?
does.
I think he like. I don't know why I think he like shoots them with something, but it's not like a gun.
Okay.
Like it's like a poisonous like dart or something. That's
Okay.
very
Poison. I like that.
like you wouldn't know that it's
Venom-y.
coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
You
a
wouldn't-
spider has venom.
yeah.
Okay.
Very stealthy.
All right. I'm going to give you my thought, and then I'm going to go way outside the box as well. I think it's strangulation and stabbing. I think he strangles and stabs, but then I think he needs to take whatever power they have, and I think he sucks it out of their toes. He grabs a dead foot and just is like
Ew.
clamps down. He's like trying to suck a fribble.
You don't know
Like-
where that's all the power comes from. Your toes.
Yep,
All the
spider
power
toes.
comes from the toes.
Yep.
How many times will Madam Web struggle to open a can of soda in this movie?
Wait, what did you say? What did you say? How many times?
How many times will Madam Web struggle to open a can of soda in this movie?
Why is it even one?
Enough that she should question if she should open sodas. I'll say there will probably be. All right, let's see.
I think 6. I think she has trouble with her webby is getting in the way.
Oh, is that what it is? Webby
Yeah.
fingers or something?
Yeah.
I think we like I said, I think this is like a very like Final Destination thing. So she'll see a scene and maybe she'll try to open it and she won't be able to. Then we'll see it start to play out. So like I think we'll get doubles, but I think 6 to 8 is a good number. I'll say 8. I think 8 times she will struggle with a soda.
So many.
Well, like Brian, are you saying like she struggles opening it or she just struggles with a can? Like, will she like I'm picturing a couple things. Like she's like, oh, I can't get the top open on the can. But also I think she's like has the tremendous strength one time, just breaks a soda. She doesn't know her strength maybe sometimes.
I think all those count.
Okay, cool.
Same
so
thing.
yeah, 8
Just
times.
struggling to open it. Yeah.
Okay.
8 times.
Yeah,
Cool.
I'll stick with my 6.
I think that's too high of a number for a human being, but I like that. I mean, to be fair, also in my lifetime, I've probably struggled opening 6
And
to
like
8
any
cans.
more than one doesn't need to be in a movie though. So I'm
Exactly.
very
Yeah, over the
intrigued.
course of an hour and a half.
Unless
I think
there's
you-
a
Yeah.
point. Unless there's a point behind it, but I
I'm
don't
thinking there's
think there
not
will
based
be.
on the way Brian asked it.
Yeah.
Drew, you might know what this camera technique is called. When when it opens like upside down and then the camera rotates.
I don't know what that's called.
Okay.
I know what you mean.
You know what
though,
I'm talking
Upsy
about, though, right?
downsy.
Like an
Yeah.
upsy downsy,
Yes.
where it like
Yep.
kind of zooms in and turns as it goes, and
Yep.
sometimes it
Optical
looks like
flip.
it's upright, but then it flips.
I like
and
that.
It's like it's a cool. Oh, what is it
We're
called?
going to use Laura's definition. An optical flip.
Optical flip.
That is a term that I've heard in like I listen to the Boy Meets World podcast and they use that a lot, but I don't think this is in the right context. But it sounds good.
It's
Cool.
okay. We're going to optical flip this shit.
How many optical flips do you think we're gonna get in this movie?
4.
4.
I'm saying 4 optical flips.
4 optical flips.
Opening of the movie is going to have one. And then each opening of each new act, like act 1, 2, 3,
Oh, okay.
like when the act starts, like I think that's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
we're going to get. Like it'll open up on a spider or something and it'll be upside down, and then like the city is the background, like out of focus, and as it's like turning, then it all of a sudden like focuses in on the like the horizon of the city or the skyline or some shit like that.
You said 4.
I think 4, yeah.
I'm gonna go with
Laura's
6.
like,
I'm gonna
yes,
go with
do it.
6 again. I
6
think
again.
6 is
All
my
right.
lucky number.
I like it.
I wish you were gonna up it. I wish you were gonna be like 14.
No.
A
6.
dizzying amount is how many. Okay.
All right. There is a Billboard Top 100 song in this movie from the year 2004.
Mm.
And I'm going to drop the Billboard list of the 2004 Top 100s. I want you to
Okay.
think of which song on here will be in one scene that is both a dancing scene and a fight scene. Give me your best guess for what the hit song of this movie is probably going to be.
And a fight scene. Now I know it's not in the 90s.
So it's like in a club or something. It's a dance. It's like
There's
like
dancing in this scene and there's fighting in this scene. That's all I'm telling you.
Okay.
Oh, there's so many good options.
I want it. I'm just gonna go right off the bat to Hey Ya.
That's
Outkast.
what I was just
Ooh,
looking
yes.
at. That was gonna be mine. Okay. Let's see.
You can still have that. It's
no,
a great idea.
we gotta do
It's a
2
good
different
idea.
ones.
Okay.
Because that's such a good one. There's a lot of Maroon 5 on here. And that, oh, this is probably not it at all, but I'm going to pick Los Lonely Boys Heaven because that is my go-to song
That's a good
at
track.
any bar that has a jukebox or like touch tunes. I don't know why. My friends make fun of me so much, so
Show me.
I have
Cool.
a weird thing for Los Lonely Boys.
I love it.
Oh, or Ashley Simpson, Pieces of Me. That song.
Ooh, very good.
Oh no, that wouldn't be a really good dance song. I'm sticking with my. But I really think I like the Outcast pick.
Outcast is very
I
good.
also, I'm gonna stick with it, but I'm just thinking. No, let's roll with it. Yeah.
Ooh, Freak a Leak. But I need to listen to these songs now.
Did you say Freak on a Leash?
Freak a Leak, Petey
Oh.
Pablo. It's a great song. 2004. These songs were like my first year or graduating high school, going into college. So this is very nostalgic for me.
Last question before we dive in. There's a final fight scene in this movie. What do you think a cool place for a final fight scene would be in this movie that takes place in New York? It doesn't have to be. You can give me like a generic thing. It doesn't have to be like a.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm thinking of something
Landmark.
really
A bridge.
random, like a bowling alley or something. Like, just really random.
I think it's a bridge.
Just like,
bridge.
isn't Superman, or not Superman, Spider-Man, aren't they at a bridge at the end?
I think in
The Toby
one of them.
one.
Which one?
They definitely fight on a bridge or there's. I think the lizard shows up on the bridge the first time we see him in the Andrew Garfield one.
Yeah, he's on a bridge in one of the Tom Holland ones too. When Doc Ock shows up, I think is it technically a bridge on the one where they're like, "This is New York. You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us."
I don't remember.
I'm sticking with bowling alley.
I love bowling alley. Great. Any last guesses before we watch the hit film Madam Web?
No,
I
this
was
is
still, I
everything
was still,
wanted
I
more.
was looking through the rest of the songs just to make sure I didn't want to change my mind.
Cool.
No, I think that's it.
All right.
Beautiful.
I'm just ready to make fun of this.
Yes, let's do it.
It's webbing time.
Incredible, isn't it? Something so small, you have so much power.
Jesus fucking Christ.
What are you doing?
I hear you. Okay.
2003.
Okay, so like,
Pretty
You were
close.
Yeah.
yeah. Blockbuster!
Blockbuster.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Code 3.
You don't ask questions about the giant terrarium in the middle of his apartment?
Also, why keep that spider?
I think it's the same spider. That was like 20 years ago.
I mean, anyway, why keep the spider? He got bit once. Do you have to keep getting bit by it?
Where's my spider?
Huh?
They took my spider.
You know, watch him drive away. I feel like that's her fault. No?
A little bit.
Because if she didn't ask him to drive, he would have left a few seconds earlier. So either way, it's her fault.
Look, barefoot.
those
Why?
toes.
Why?
Look at those toes on a subway.
Knock yourself out.
He's walking on piss.
Do we ever get an answer as to why he's barefoot? No?
He's a freak.
For repeat.
Have you, you've seen Independence Day, right?
A long time ago.
You know in the beginning where there's the alien, you've probably seen in other things too, or the takes over his body and his face is all like droopy and he like talks like no.
Are you talking about Men in Black?
Yes, not Independence Day.
More sugar.
Yes. That's what this guy talking reminds me of.
Yeah.
It like doesn't match perfectly.
Yeah.
It's like a weird voice. You're talking about Men in Black. Yes. It didn't seem right when I said it either.
It's like I think they barely even show the aliens in Independence Day, right? It's just like the ship.
Yeah.
It's a genetic neuromuscular disorder.
But I don't have a neuromuscular disorder.
Life expectancy varies. Do you need a tissue? No.
I need a ticket
I'm afraid they're fused.
to the Amazon.
Single target nucleotide intervention.
I take it back. That's my favorite part. I don't have a muscular disorder.
For me,
Why do they think the audience is so dumb?
I'm surprised she's still driving that same taxi.
Yeah. It's like it's her car.
She went to fucking Peru.
You're so right. Where was the taxi?
Yeah.
She went to Peru.
But right? I mean, several days must have passed at this point. Yes, I've seen this on Instagram. For some reason, he jumps into the car. If he ducked, he wouldn't have even hit the fucking car.
The taxi that just blew up. Were there people in it? Like no one cares?
No one cares. That's fine. That's fine.
It's like, well, they weren't my friends. So.
Yep. Oh, we're back. Hello, everybody. And that was Madam Web.
Yeah, what'd you guys think?
It wasn't as awful as there was. I think it's like you said, the story itself had potential, but then there was just certain choices that they made, like acting and dialogue. That was so odd.
It was everything I heard and more.
Yeah. I just couldn't believe how stupid they thought the audience was.
Yeah.
And how
That's
like
the biggest takeaway for me is how much it was like, hey, you remember this from earlier? Or like,
do you remember that
thing?
she hates children? Like,
yeah.
It was like I think about this movie and I think about other things we've watched that do the same thing, like Dune, where all of that inner dialogue just to tell you the audience what was happening.
Yes, exactly.
And this is like the same thing. There's just so much, again, exposition. Like, and that's usually the rule is they when you think about like movies and things, is like show us, don't tell us.
Yeah.
Show, don't tell. And they just told us. And that whole thing, Laura, that line from the preview that everyone always makes fun of, they cut it out because people talked so much shit about it. She started to say it. She says the first part of the line, and then they just
Yeah.
cut it from there. But no, it's literally like they just have to keep telling you
Yeah.
these very obvious things, so they think that you just won't understand it or get it.
It's
And
so weird.
that's also like I think heavily involved with the studio executives leaving you notes and things like and I think the producer I don't think the producers of the movie are as much involved in these big changes as the studio executives who are watching it going, I don't get it. Or shouldn't we let people know that these people are going to have powers? Like, things like that where they're getting these bad notes.
And it's like someone who's never seen a superhero movie before took notes on it and was like, I don't understand this.
Honestly, I didn't even look, but this feels like Avi Arad, who is a producer on like all the Spider-Man and originally was working with original Marvel, but left when Disney, like when Marvel, when like Iron Man came out, Avi Arad kind of left. He's stuck with doing the Sony things. And I just have a feeling like this feels like an Avi Arad, like had his fingers on it. It's very like the late 90s, early 2000s superhero feel, but like also like that doesn't work with the audience of today.
Yeah, I felt like I was watching like a children's TV show where they like step by step spell things out.
Yeah,
but I definitely see, like you said, Brett, like there was potential. Like the story itself wasn't that bad. The only thing that I was very thrown off on was that it seemed like this would have been the second movie that would have come out in like a series. Like there would have been a movie of them like all fighting together, and then there would the movie that would come after would be like their origin story. Yeah, like a prequel origin story. I thought there was going to be way more of them in their costume, or not what's their costume, but you know what I mean. Like there was none of that.
No.
I was like, this is just an origin story.
And it was
for
the same
a
like
story
clips of the Vision. Yeah,
an origin story for a story that we don't know about. I don't know. It was very weird.
Yeah.
This is actually interesting. Sorry, I brought up that producer Avi Arad. He has produced every Spider-Man thing that's come out, and this is the only one he doesn't have a credit on. He even has a credit for the next
for Morbius.
He has credit for Morbius, but he's got a credit for Kraven, Venom, the Last Dance, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, Black Cat that's coming out, like
Silver Sable, Sinister Six.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a credit on this one, which is very strange to me. But weird. Okay. Yeah. Anyway.
I think
why? Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Why did that guy look like he was CGI'd the whole time? I don't believe he was a real person acting.
I think his mouth was CGI'd the whole time. No, I think they probably
like
tried
aged him up. I think
they had to age him up. But I think it looked like his mouth was. They tried to use CGI to make his lips match with.
So off about him. Yeah.
And it's just the accent was off.
It was a weird choice.
I think someone else did his ADR.
You think so?
That's the theory I've seen online. Is that like he did his lines and then he did some ADR. But there are some scenes where you can hear that it's a totally different, like not even recording, it's someone else's voice.
Yeah.
In the scene where he's in bed with the NSA person, his like there was one or two lines that you could tell was him, and then there was a couple that you could like hear. Go back to that scene and you can hear it transition from bed recording to someone in ADR, and it doesn't sound like the same person.
Well, it's like even when he was walking around the computers with Sosha there, and there was times when he was walking behind her and his mouth was not moving. No. But there was dialogue.
Very weird.
Very interesting. But
strange.
It was still like a fun it could have been so much better.
Yeah. I feel like I wish that they just leaned into the thriller thing. Like I think honestly you could cut out everything with her mother. You don't really need to get into that too much. You can hint at it. If you want to have a sequel, have her go back and figure that out in the sequel.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't give us the Las Arañas. You don't need it. Don't kill the NSA director. Like you can just be a rich guy who has access to technology. We're not that stupid. You don't need to like over explain why he has the technology to do what he's doing. That felt like way too much wasted time.
Yeah.
And with all that time saved, give us them in the uniform in the future. Give us a
Yeah.
whole scene in the future of them
It-
killing him or something.
It
Do you-
seemed like so many things happened, yet nothing happened.
So here's my it's funny that we say this because that was probably the only scene they could have used a little bit more exposition for, was with the NSA director, because he's like, they have this technology now, because after this is 2003, after 2001, all these government agencies amped up and had all this money towards getting this new technology and things like that. So like if they're not going to mention 9/11, I don't, in the movie, but they're not, you don't want to do that, but it's still like I would have appreciated
That's why that's all
that.
available.
Yeah, I would have appreciated being like, after 2 years ago, or something like that. There would, if he was like, then everyone's has this, you've created this, something like that. But it was just like, the NSA has a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
Give me a password.
Yeah.
And it's like, how does?
Yeah.
Well, they needed a scene where they could explain his dream or whatever. I don't
Mhm.
know. It was.
It was weird.
And they needed to mention twice that like he came from nothing, and that's their attempt to like humanize him. I guess is just that he's like,
I didn't
came from
even
nothing. You don't
notice
know
that they
when I
said
came
that.
from. I worked so hard to get where I'm at. I'm like, what is where you're at? What do you do?
And what did you work so hard at? You
Yeah.
killed a lady to get a spider?
For what? How did you
yeah.
make money off of that?
Yeah, that's so true.
They don't even explain what he does.
That's so true.
You want to like create some sense of realism. Like, why is this guy rich? What
You
is
ans-
he? What has he
yeah.
done in 20 years? I don't know.
You answered the questions we already knew the answer to, but didn't answer questions that we needed info
Yeah.
on.
They also like made Spider-Man, who was not in the movie, except so Laura, the if you didn't follow this, I don't know how much into like Spider-Man, but Adam Scott, her friend Ben, is Spider-Man's Uncle Ben, who takes care of Peter Parker, and he's Ben Parker. And
Okay. I
so-
didn't know that going into this, but now I got you.
So
now I got
his sister Mary,
Yeah.
who was Roberts there, Emma Roberts, who was pregnant, has baby. We never know that baby's name, but that's Peter Parker. That's baby Spider-Man. Okay.
Yeah. That's why they're all like, what's the name going to be? And then they just don't say it.
Yes.
And it's the same
Got
thing
it.
with Ben being, I met someone and like, what's her name? It's May. It's
Yeah.
Aunt May.
It's
You
Aunt
just-
May.
you're not
Oh,
gonna-
okay.
Yeah.
They're
I
not,
like
they weren't
that.
allowed to say any of that in this
Yes.
movie.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
I like that a
like,
lot.
where was I going with this? I can't remember the point I was trying to bring up here.
It's okay. The directors.
Oh,
didn't
that's
either.
right. That's what I was saying. Where they where they kind of make Spider-Man almost a little less special here, because like the whole thing about like Spider-Man, he created this unique outfit, and all of a
Mm.
sudden you've got this guy 10 years or 15-ish years earlier, who basically, it's like saying like anytime you get bit by a spider and you have powers, you make that similar sort of outfit.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, all
everyone
spider
had a
people.
spiderish outfit.
Even the forest people had.
Yeah, it's from
had
Yes.
webbing around a red suit. You know?
Yes.
The
So it
legend.
was-
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, and the best part is like his spider's not that spider. Spider-Man spider isn't that spider. Like that thing. It's like a radioactive spider. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, fucking
man-made spider, isn't it? Like
Yeah. It's like, it's genetically
Or,
enhanced or yeah. But like what a,
And that was all made up for this. None of that's from the comics. This was
Right.
all like, that's not even how Madam Web gets her powers in the comics. This was
Yeah.
like what they decided to do.
Oh.
In the comics, she gets like sick or something, and her husband builds this web machine for her, and then she gets powers or something. It's not like it's much better in the comics. It's a weird character to decide to do a movie on.
well, because she's an anti-hero in the beginning. She was not a good guy in the first like
Yeah.
Spider-Man's
In
like,
the
things.
cartoon, from what I remember, she's just kind of annoying. She just like shows up and is like, "Oh, something bad's gonna happen to you, Spider-Man." He's like, "Can you tell me what it is so I can do something about it?" She's like, "I'll never tell," and then like
Yeah.
disappears.
Yeah.
She's just like this freaky old woman who shows up to be like, "Ooh, some troubles around the bend."
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was is definitely an interesting choice. And that's the whole Sony thing, is they're like, let's make movies without Spider-Man in them with Spider-Man characters, but why pick good guys? Let's
Yeah.
pick the bad guys and try to make them good guys, or root for them. That's the same thing, Laura. There's a movie coming out in like October from Sony. It's their next attempt. And it's if this next movie bombs, which it likely will,
Yeah.
there will actually probably be some Marvel debate if they can like sue because their brand is being hurt now by Sony. But they're making one of Spider-Man's big villains and they're doing an origin story, but you're supposed to feel for him and it's supposed to be an anti-hero movie where he does bad things but for a good reason. And it's gonna be very strange. Like it doesn't look good.
Yeah, and it just seems like they're trying to jump on the bandwagon of just like we can make any superhero movie and it's gonna do well, and that's not.
They'll do good with their Venom movie later in the year with Tom Hardy because those just hit. Those had with Tom Hardy's involvement in it and producing, he had the right feel. Even if the movies are not good, he is very good as Venom.
As Venom,
And like that will continue. That'll do good. But like this Kraven the Hunter movie just looks like this is no joke. In the preview, they allude that a big lion's blood gives him powers.
Yeah. Which is it's like this.
Fuck?
It's the same thing with Morbius.
Yes.
Some bats like bite him, and he turns into a vampire. And this lion bleeds on him, and he turns into a lion, like a hunter.
Yes, and then like his like brother is like turns into a rhino. I don't know. Yeah. It's weird.
A spider bites your mom while she's pregnant with you, and you get magical like power. It's just like the same. I don't know. I think that the movie that I like saw here that I was like, there's something here is that like if they just focused on like the characters, there were moments where the characters interacting with each other was like funny and cute and like having like a classic like without doing so much of that like telling us not showing us of like not really interested in kids, not really interested in like getting involved in this whole thing, but like in that way that like Stranger Things did it with what's the one where like he takes care of all of the kids in that one season.
The older
like,
teenager.
Steven?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the older teen takes care of the younger kids. And like, I kind of see something in there of that of like, she doesn't really want to get involved, but then she has to, and then like has to learn her powers and protect them at the same time. I just wish they like did a real thriller, did better character like development through that. And like, I don't know. There's some funny like romp that could have been in there along with an actual thriller. But then they did the same thing that even Marvel movies suffer from, where they have like a big fight scene at the end, and it's like you set the whole movie up around the premise that she can see into the future, and then her big plan doesn't work until she unlocks a new superpower where she can split into 3 people. Like, make it so the climax of the movie is her doing something cool with the powers that you spent 2 hours telling us about. She can see into the future. Have that work. Have her kick ass at that by the end of the movie. But instead it fails, and then she's got to split into 3 people, which is some bizarro world superpower to introduce that late in the movie. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just weird.
I feel like they could like have gone into the other girls. Like you said, you could have taken so many other things out and learned more about them, and other than them standing in the room together saying, "My parents don't live here. My parents do that." Like they went in a row and said why they all won't be missing for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And that was, I'm like, okay. Thanks for just getting that out of the way in 30 seconds.
You don't think the school will find it odd that you're not there for 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Is it summer vacation? Like, what's happening? I don't know.
Anyways.
Favorite scenes?
That baby pop. These are not my favorite scenes. I don't even know if I have a favorite scene.
Yeah.
But that baby popping out was so weird. So weird. It just popped out of nowhere. But then I did think it was funny when she tried to climb up the wall, but it also didn't make sense because she didn't know about the superpower being seeing into the future until after she tried to climb up the wall.
Yeah. I didn't catch that in my first watch. I actually walked away really liking that scene for the same reason. Like a lot of superhero movies do these moments where you like test your powers and like think of like Tobey Maguire shooting the webs on the roof. Yeah. Go web, fly.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think it would be funny for her to be like, maybe I can climb on walls, and then just fucking can't. And I was like, oh, that's cute. That's a cute like callback to Spider-Man, but it's like a quirky, its own thing because it's Johnson. But Yeah, they didn't even set that up correctly.
Yeah. And then I liked Mount Vernon guy on the train. He was funny.
Oh yeah.
Am I on the right train? I don't know, man.
Yeah,
that was good.
I don't think I could. There's no like favorite part.
I know,
Like,
as I was watching it, I was really trying to pick out one part, and I couldn't.
I mean, it was funny. There was some predictable stuff. But yeah, I don't have a favorite spot.
Is this the first time you haven't had a
Yeah.
favorite
No
part of a
favorite
movie?
scenes.
Yeah.
I liked Cassie climbing the wall. I liked the defib scene. That felt like a genuinely, like, if that was in a good version of this movie, I'd be happy with it. Like, I thought that was a cool, like, her using her normal human, like, oh, I'm a paramedic, I have this idea. Like,
Yeah,
that, like, kind of made sense and was kind of cool.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah, there just wasn't a lot of superpowers happening that I thought we would get in a superhero movie. And man, that camera work of
it was dizzying.
Yeah, I think if I saw it, was it even worse when you were watching it in a movie theater? Of like on the big screen? Because watching it on this little tiny screen, I felt like I was getting motion sickness.
Yeah, no, I didn't get sick in the theater, but it definitely felt like, I don't know, I was getting like blurry eyes just from like,
Yeah.
it was dizzying. Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. That was way, like, real messy editing. I don't even want to blame the writing, because it genuinely feels like they overdubbed all of that villain's lines.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even know if that was like what was in the script, or if that was just like later during reshoots they just added a bunch of stuff. Who knows if that was the script or not?
Because there was a lot of times that he was walking around in his apartment and you couldn't see his face at all. So they probably,
anytime he's in the suit.
Yeah, like, they probably added things just after, or like changed it.
Yeah,
that's so true.
You missed a line which like summed up the, like, again, them like telling us information.
Oh gosh.
You had walked away when she like first goes to sit down in her apartment, and she opens the window and lets the cat in.
Yeah.
And she pours the cat a bowl of milk, and she's like, "Us strays gotta stay together."
Oh my god.
And then immediately as the cat starts eating it, she's like, "Wow, you're hungry." And it was just like quippy little line, and like telling us that us strays, you didn't need to add either of those lines in. Both of them seemed overdubbed, and it's like, we got it. We figured it out. You take care of the strays because you're a stray, you're a foster kid, but you don't really like kids because you think your mom hated you and she didn't even want you to begin with, and you like, it's a whole cyclical thing. Like, I could have figured that out without half of the dialogue that you put in here. And I feel bad for Dakota Johnson, because I actually think that, like, she's probably a good actress, but her lines came across so flat because it was just like,
it wasn't good dialogue.
Yeah, you ruined the burgers. Like, that whole thing was just so awkward. Or but I don't have a neuromuscular disorder.
That one made me lose my shit. That was so funny. That one was just like, wow, you really are spelling it out for us.
Yeah. But that's where I think, like, if they could have just ignored some of the direction from the producers or whatever, and just like kept in some of the original dialogue, or like let them riff or something. Like, I actually think that the interactions between the kids and her could have been a lot better, and that would have been fun to have these three like smart ass kids, and she's also kind of a smart ass, but like, I don't know, that could have been like a fun dynamic.
They could have made, like, added some more humor to it, like, also
like good humor. Like, it seems like they tried to.
It seems like they
didn't
were
know
trying,
what was funny,
but it just didn't land. Yeah, I don't know.
Because I didn't mind her and like Adam Scott at the beginning when they were like teasing each other over food and stuff. Like,
they had a good dynamic,
a really fun chemistry too.
Yeah.
It's just goofy. I feel like I like movies like this because I feel like I can. I feel like it makes me feel like I could write a movie every time I see a movie like this. I'm like, I could do better than this. Come on.
We're gonna go into guesses.
Yeah, should we go over guesses?
Yes, let's do it.
Cool. So, we knew that there was one main character who was a paramedic, who has a near-death experience, which unlocks the ability to see the possibility of people dying in the future. associated with these 3 girls. One of them lives in the same building. They're all orphans. Someone's targeting them. He's the guy who was with her mom in the jungle researching spiders. There's a force that is specifically trying to target the women, and that's how Spider-Man is involved. The spider guy is involved, the villain. And Adam Scott's there, and there's a Subway diner. And you knew quite a bit, and I think all that's from the trailer. To be
I was
honest.
just gonna say the trailer gave away a lot.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the movie. And then I was just thinking too a second ago. Did she end up adopting these kids at the end?
I
Like
guess.
legally?
I don't know. They don't
Because,
explain that for all the things that they explain.
Sydney Sweeney still had a father and a family, even though she felt they didn't care. He didn't care for her.
I
But,
just
like,
assumed that like it was they're just gonna hang out at their house all the time. kind of
Gotcha.
thing. Yeah.
Okay. Because like the other two actually need like parental help.
Yeah.
At least Anya did, because
Anya
she's
did.
like, she's like, my dad's gone.
But Maddie's
Like,
parents are like loaded. They just she
Yeah.
felt like they didn't want her. But
Yeah.
like
even
they're
the
probably
whole
still
thing
around.
with Anya, she's like, my dad got deported. Like, did no one know that he had a daughter? Did he not say like, what about my daughter, or find my kid, or like, I'm trying to get back legally into the system, and where's my daughter? And like, he's not reached out, tried to call. Okay, all right, cool. Let's keep going with those guesses. It's just more perplexing as time's gone by now. Thinking about things, I'm like, what about that?
Yeah. It's I don't know, Bush era immigration policies. I don't know.
That's fair. Okay.
Maybe they don't ask questions. What do we know about Madam Web, the character? She's a little older in the comic. She can see interdimensionally or see multiple futures. That was absolutely correct. She didn't really shoot webs at any point. She shot like virtual webs,
metaphysical
webs at some point, and really we're all in her web, you know, if you think about it. Julia Carpenter is one of the Spider Women. She's technically Julia Cornwall in this movie for fuck knows why. But yeah, it's Julia Carpenter from the comics who plays Spider Woman, and she's got like an energy beam. She does like Super Saiyan stuff. I don't know that that's from the comics or not.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't remember any spider people shooting energy beams out of their hands. But you do you, Sony. What time does the movie take place in? We thought 1990s. We'd see old cell phones. I actually don't know if we saw a cell phone.
Just one. Didn't she throw it out the window or something in the cab? Or she was like,
oh, yeah. And that was like an old school flip phone.
Everyone
else had one of those dumb Bluetooth dongles.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Whatever those had a name at one point. I forget what they're called.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was around the time where cell phones, it was like they were starting to get really small. That was like the smaller it was the cooler.
Yeah.
Like it was cooler for the small ones.
Like so small.
Somebody I remember I worked with had one so small, and the antenna like stuck out. It literally looked like the noisy cricket from Men in Black.
Yes.
Like when closed, like it was that small. And then like now they're like, it's like bigger is better. Like now it's like,
Yep.
Yeah.
I definitely remember that era.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Once you could watch like videos on your phone, they were like, these need to be huge. You need TVs in your pocket.
Yeah.
We did not see Mario Lopez.
God damn it.
We'd see old school video games, like PlayStation. One of the guy in the train who says New York is crazy these days is playing a PlayStation Pocket, the PSP, old school from 2004. So he was. We did see a Sony specific video game system. It just wasn't like as in your face as we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
They were like, "This is my new Sony VHS player."
Yeah, right. I honestly, I thought that was his. Like, I wasn't paying attention enough to what was in his hands. I just thought he was watching a video on his phone.
Yeah. But it was an old like Game Boy type thing. I thought I thought that it was a phone too the first time I watched it, and I was like, Wait, isn't this 2004? No one's on
Yeah.
their phone on the subway. It's
You're
either
like
a newspaper.
T9
or-
texting, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a little PSP.
T9 text.
Yeah. Where does this movie take place? We thought this would take place in New York City.
Mhm.
There'd be some Times Square bullshit.
Yep.
Was that Times Square where she jumps through the billboard? I couldn't really.
I don't
tell.
think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so because he was in Queens rushing to the hospital.
Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah. I don't think
Yeah,
so.
you definitely wouldn't go through Times Square to go to the hospital.
Yeah, hey, we need to get there ASAP.
Yeah,
Let's
let's go
stop
through
at
the
Times Square.
busiest place. Yeah.
But we saw some dirty New York. We saw some old cars. We saw. I don't think we saw Wall Street yuppies whistling. We didn't get any
No,
of
if
that.
it was the 90s, like I thought, then there
Yeah,
would
yeah.
have been.
Yeah.
for sure.
But 2000s, people were, I don't want to say more respectful, but it just was like, yeah.
No real catcalling either.
No.
There was some mutual ogling of the teens in the diner, but no
Mhm.
real catcalling.
Yeah.
And that one time where Ben and Cassie were having their Chinese food, and like he's like, I met someone.
I don't
And
know
it
what
was
that
like-
meant.
Was it like was he telling her like
So this is
We're
done.
done?
Yeah,
or
can't happen now.
yeah, right? Like, do you think they banged on the side a few times? And it's just like so
You're a busy paramedic. you know?
Yeah.
yeah,
Who knows what happens? There's so much room in the back of those things.
right?
What?
He's like, nobody can pin you down but me.
Oh.
Oh my god.
What kind of superpowers will we see in this movie? Super strength, big jumping, web slinging, seeing some toes. I don't know why I wrote that next down to superpowers. I think you went on a
That's
little rant there.
Drew said he was gonna suck the power out of
Yes,
people
out
from
of
their
the
toes.
Oh, sucking
Yeah.
it from the toes. I mean, we did see some toes. We saw quite a bit of toes.
That's just
Yeah.
weird,
From
like,
Ezekiel.
why did he even go onto
unnecessary
the train?
toes.
But why did he even go onto the train the first time without being in the Spider-Man outfit? Like he was in full view of any person on the train.
Yeah.
To
Fully
identify
aware that
him
there's
that he murdered
technology.
3 girls.
Yeah, fully aware that there's technology that like is filming it all the
Well,
time
he could
because
probably,
he's
like,
using it.
Get it erased or something.
Maybe.
Oh, maybe.
yeah.
Yeah.
So she can work
But
her
then
magic.
10 seconds later, he's in his spider outfit.
Yeah.
It's a little strange. It was the only way that they would have seen his face to know
You
him
needed
later
that.
on. But
Yeah.
dumb. It's just dumb.
it's
The
just-
only man on the train
dumb.
that didn't have shoes on. That's
Yes,
it.
also.
Yeah.
I guess he can't get sick though because he's got super strength.
Yeah, but there's
Because they gets the peptides.
it's still gross.
Because of all the collagen peptides.
Yeah, all the peptides. More peptides.
Like now, like my wife has like a collagen peptide powder, and now I'm like, is she gonna get fucking super powers?
Los Arañas.
So many she drinks.
Los
a lot of it.
Arañas.
Yeah, she drinks a lot of it. Like I'm gonna walk in the room, she'd be crawling on the fucking ceiling.
This one time, I was talking to your wife, and she was like, "I was thinking about going on to the Amazon to research some spiders."
It's like, I really want to go to Peru for some reason.
Mhm.
Also, why did they make him the security guard? I only signed on to be your security guard because I thought you were close. That sounds sketchy, my dude.
Yeah.
Why didn't she think that was sketchy? Why would he say that? And if you're writing this movie, just make him the guy who's funding the research.
Yeah.
And then he takes it. Like, establish that he's just already rich and wants more power, because people who are rich do want more power. That's a believable thing. You don't come from nothing and then want more power.
Right.
Make the rich
Yeah.
guy the villain, like he just should have been all
Like
along.
he should have been all.
And I think I said, like, right after he said, I'm the security, I'm like, wouldn't you get someone that, like, lives in the Amazon to be the one that's showing you around and,
You would
like,
think.
protecting you from
Yeah.
the things that live in the Amazon? Like, not some
You-
white dude
yeah.
from that doesn't live in the Amazon?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bizarre. But he was there. He was with her mother in the Amazon researching spiders. He did kill the mother inadvertently. She was pregnant, and she was bit by a spider.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It seemed right. It seemed like it fit.
Yeah.
Also, like, he took the spider.
Yeah.
He obviously
Used
got
it.
the spider to bite him.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish we had like, what was that like? Did the spider just go back into its little container? Like, it seems like when you get bit by that thing, you're not you like, there's a moment of like almost paralysis, like for a second, and like the spider
Maybe
just
he
chill.
crawled in the terrarium.
Yeah, right.
Let it bite him, and then they were both in there together. While he did his
Oh, maybe he
transformation.
had the spider in the terrarium, but he has like a special thing where he can put his hand in. And he's just like,
yeah.
come on, spider, come on. And then he gets bit, and he's like, "Ugh," and then he's like, okay, I don't know.
Once you get
Spiders don't last that long, so
it'd be wild if once you get bit, like you can communicate with the spider. So like he gets bit, and then moments later, the spider's like, Ezekiel, why'd you make me bite you, bro?
you're cursed. You should not have taken us out of our like forest.
I thought you were doing an Arnold impression for a moment.
No, I was.
You're cursed.
I didn't really want to do any main accent in order to be not like, a piece of shit. So
Yeah.
I just tried talking weird. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What other guesses do we
He
have?
wants Cassie dead. We're gonna see venom in the body. I don't know what that meant. She is
Yeah, like
Oh,
the
that
spider,
was-
like
When the spider
Yeah.
bites, you would see like the
We
venom.
didn't
or,
really,
like,
we didn't really
no,
see that.
no,
I
we
mean,
saw the
some of
spider bite, but
yeah.
Yeah, we see some
I honestly
poison.
thought we were gonna see it, and it was gonna travel through her
Yeah.
blood to like the
Magic
baby.
school bus style.
Like that's where I thought we
to
were
the
gonna see.
baby.
That's what I thought in that shot. It was gonna be like the bite, and then it would like go, and we could see it went to the baby. But instead, they just showed a baby underwater going like, and like surfacing like a little dolphin.
yeah.
Yeah.
Laura.
It was like a buoy in the water.
Yeah,
It just
yeah.
was like boop.
I like it's so clear that two men wrote that whole scene, and it's just like, I don't know, it's magic. Just like spiders in childbirth. Who knows what happens?
Oh my
It's
God.
anybody's guess.
And wait, we still don't know how the baby got back to New York, do we?
With like a birth certificate and like paperwork and everything,
Yes.
like all that was in this fucking suitcase. So like these spider people had like a whole hospital organization. Like outside of that room with the little well, there's like an office administrator who's like, let me file all this paperwork for you.
I almost want to go back to that moment and look at that birth certificate to see if it says where. Like, is she considered a foreign citizen because she was born in Peru?
It did say Peru on it.
It did?
Yeah.
Does she even she didn't seem
She
to know.
could be deported.
But she didn't know that. She didn't seem to know she was born in Peru.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like she knew that because
Also, she had all that shit. She had to go all the way back to her apartment to read through it. And like, you're not telling me you've read through that shit like a bunch of times in
That
30
annoyed me.
years?
Well, they had to get her to see the picture.
but maybe
There should
maybe
have been
she
another
only-
way.
Yeah, and maybe she only read it like once because she hates her mom because she thinks her mom hated her.
Oh no,
maybe.
she hate readed that. Like she
Yeah, you're right. She but like, does she hate read it all the time?
yes.
Okay.
100%. I believe.
Yeah, I
that
feel
she
like you'd
did.
see that guy and be like, hey, that's the guy from the picture in that
The
suitcase. of
one
stuff
picture I
from my
have with
mom."
my mom. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still more like, who took this picture of my mom and
Yeah,
Ezekiel?
the spider.
Yeah, right. There's like a little little spider leg in the frame. Like,
Yeah, it's so weird because there were other people there, but the way the picture was taken looked like it was a selfie from like
Yeah.
yeah, very strange.
yeah, why would they even like pose like that?
Yeah. And he
Like,
clearly
that
didn't
was
like her.
posed.
So
Yeah, Ezekiel, come on, get in this picture.
Yeah.
He's like, what?
You find the spider?
Yeah, that's right. He's asking about the spider. She's just like, who's taking my picture? It was
You find
very
the spider?
concerning. Anyway, yeah. Okay,
You, Laura, thought he wanted all the power.
Yes.
from their toes.
Yeah, we didn't think we'd connect with him. Maybe he was a failed scientist. We know fucking nothing about this. We
Yeah.
haven't heard anything about him other than like, I came from nothing. I won't go back to that. You don't know what I've been through. And it's like, we don't.
yeah,
You didn't do
we
anything.
don't at all.
Yeah, we don't. Thank you. What way does our villain like to kill women specifically? Spider powers, or shoots them with a poison dart. maybe Venom. He does use Venom quite a bit. He killed the NSA agent with Venom. He tried to kill a bunch of people with the Venom. Drew thought strangulation and stabbing, and then he sucks the power out of their toes.
Yeah, I seem to remember like from the trailer that the scene on the train, and every single person he
Picks up,
grab
yeah.
by their neck, and then I remember her vision of the diner getting stabbed, so I was like, strangle and stabbing seem appropriate.
Yeah. It was just obvious with like the cops too, because he was like, punch that guy cop, strangle this woman cop. It was
Yeah,
just,
Yeah.
like, every time it was a woman, it was like, I don't know if they had some rule at Sony that were like, you can't punch women. You can only strangle them.
Find a more creative way.
Yeah.
So funny.
Strangulation?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
How many times will Madam Web struggle to open a can of soda? I think it was just 2 or 3.
Yeah.
It wasn't as much
But
as
it's
6 or
so
8.
funny because it wasn't the way that I was imagining.
It was just, I think, honestly, it's just that she's awkward and, like,
And it
didn't know
was
what to
like,
do
this
with
is
her
product
hands.
placement,
So
and
she
you
was
need to
like-
hold this.
Yeah. And so she's like, well, I can't open it, so I'm just gonna fucking
Yeah.
fiddle with it
At
in
one
my
point,
hand.
she tried to warm the top of it. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
I was thinking she was cleaning it off. So, like, if you have a can
Yeah.
and you're like kind of do the little wipe on the thing, if
Yeah.
you get it out of a vending machine, that's what I thought
Yeah.
she was doing.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
probably.
Yeah.
That's what she was thinking she was conveying. So,
Yeah.
I'm surprised that she didn't actually tell us that. Like,
Hey,
gotta clean
I
the top of
really
this
like
can.
Pepsi Cola, and just
gotta
hold
clean
it up.
the top of this can off. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Have you tried this new delicious Pepsi?
Yeah.
How many times do you think the camera will do a cool flippy thing? Drew thought it was 4 times. Laura thought it was 6 times.
I lost fucking count.
I counted 12.
Damn.
So my
12.
guess of 14. Like
So
my
ours
other guess
together
Pretty close.
was
Yeah.
pretty close.
Yeah. And there's so much like camera movement sometimes that it was really tough to tell. So it could have been more.
Yeah.
Or like there's some like half ones that's like it could go either way, but it seemed like it was about 12. The final fight scene we thought maybe was at a bridge or a bowling alley. I could see why you'd think bridge. I bet in the trailer it looked like a bridge.
Yeah.
But it was a fireworks factory for some fucking reason. Apparently that's like a landmark in Queens, that like Pepsi Cola sign.
I
is,
was
like,
gonna
a
say it
big
looks
deal.
familiar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard someone say that like if you're not really from there, you might think, what a weird Pepsi Cola product placement, but it is like
Yeah.
a sign that
An
is
actual place
there.
thing,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't know if the real place is a fireworks factory.
But also
Or
product
warehouse.
placement.
It better be.
Yeah, it just seemed like a weird classic place. Like I don't know, it just seemed like a weird place for a final fight scene.
Mhm.
Or like it's sort of like a villain like ties someone up to a train tracks or ties them up in a
Yeah.
fireworks factory. I don't know, it felt weird.
It's like we need things to be shooting out and almost killing them. Where can we place them?
What about a fireworks factory?
Yeah. Have we done
Were
a
they-
fireworks factory yet?
Where they intentionally light all of it on fire.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess like there's like I guess the randomness of it like would really test her powers and the like can you predict like what's
Yeah.
gonna happen, but that feels like wild to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Our Billboard Top 100 song was not Heya by Outkast. It was not Heaven by the Los Lonely Boys.
I really wish that it was.
Or the Los Arañas Boys. But it was Toxic by Britney Spears.
I love that.
Which is a good track to do that with. I thought that was fun. Bizarre that they were dancing on a table.
That diner music was great though. You
Yeah,
got
they had a
some
couple good songs in there.
What's her name?
But-
Meredith Brooks.
The
yeah.
clientele at the diner did not look like the clientele that would be listening.
Very,
to that.
very
Yes,
true.
That's true.
Very
Well, you had
true.
all those teens. There's a lot of teens in there.
There were some teens. The table that got the dance.
Yeah, I've never been in a diner that's playing like today's hits. It's
Yeah,
usually
that's true.
like music from
exactly.
40, 50 years ago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because
Good
that's
point.
fucking jukebox doesn't have today's hits
Yeah.
in it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. That's it
That's
for
it?
final guesses. We did
Oh,
favorite
gosh.
scenes.
Do we have to do our rating now?
Do we have to do a rating?
I
I
haven't.
mean,
I didn't even.
This
think
movie
about
came
it.
out like a month and a half ago. I don't know that you should have seen it.
Yeah,
any
no, I
sooner
don't
than
think
this.
I don't think this is,
So should we just do a like
Would you
1 to
watch
5
it again?
if we enjoyed it, if we would watch it again.
Yeah.
I will give it a 2.
Mm.
Because everything we talked about already of there was something there. It just wasn't executed very well. But I didn't hate watching it. I think if I watched it, if I like put it on by myself, I'd probably be like, this is an okay movie. Like, not super awful, but like watching it with you guys, obviously we're gonna like pick it apart. But I probably would have like had it on the background and been like, it's something. I wouldn't put it on again though.
Not for fun. Not for
Not even as like a in the background while I'm like cleaning or something. No, this would get skipped over for sure.
Yeah. This is a 1.5.
Yeah.
It's just over. It's a movie.
Yeah.
To like, but I still can't give it a 2 because I think like a 2 for me is it's a bad movie I'd watch again.
Yeah,
Like-
I guess that's the scale I'm wondering is that like, is this just a bad movie or is this a good bad movie where you'd like, it'd be fun to watch with other friends or something?
I
If you're
think
like,
it's
oh, we're
a
gonna have a bad
movie
movie
that'd be
night.
fun. Yeah, I think it's like that bad that you could watch it with friends, and I think in a couple of years it'll have like a cult audience. You know, they should do what they did with Morbius, right, and re-release it, but put the bad lines that they cut because they thought people would hate it. They should just they should lean into it being a bad movie.
Yeah.
And like, so like people are in the theater yelling at the same time. He was with my mother when in the Amazon when she was studying spiders.
Yeah.
You know,
It's kind of like
something like that.
Twilight. Like people do that with like the first Twilight movie was real bad, and the other 3 or 4 were like pretty good, but they have like the rewatches where people the same thing, like they will shout the lines at the same time.
Exactly.
And yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think I heard someone say that like, oh, the ADR recording sessions are my Snyder's cut for this movie. Like, I'd love to see whoever was in the ADR booth doing all the voiceover work afterwards. Like, because even some of those lines, like you went through the effort of reshooting and adding lines, and that's what you dubbed with.
Yeah.
That's what you thought would fix this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
That was shocking to me.
What's your score, Brian? Now that you had to watch this twice in a very short span of time.
Just as much the second time as I did the first time. I think it's a lot of fun to watch for this express purpose. Like it is.
Yeah.
The Dakota Johnson's delivery on these lines are so cringy, but in like a satisfying way. And there's so much of that throughout this. It's just a lot of fun to like I could have guessed that you were both gonna burst out laughing when he shoots people at the beginning of the movie, which is not that's not something you're supposed to laugh at. But like I was like getting ready for it. I'm like, they're gonna laugh because this is like
it was so like unexpected.
Too seriously, yeah.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Or again,
but you were right.
Like, I don't have a neuromuscular disorder, and it's just
that was the funniest.
So
that
goofy.
was the best scene.
Yeah,
that made me laugh so hard.
That was the best. Yes.
There was a certain point where you were predicting like every line that was happening.
You literally were line for line, like predicting exactly what they were saying at the same cadence too. Like you were just saying it at the exact same time that they were.
You know, that's the thing like about movies like this though.
Yeah, it's predictable.
Like, it is. Yeah, it is. And it I don't know, just like it just I was Madam Web. I was in 3 places at once, and I was just like seeing the future, and I was able to say, you know, those things like, you know, as they were happening because it just did. It was wild.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't really know what scale that is for me. It's probably like a 3 or something. But I had a good time with it. I could see it. I can't see it rivaling like a bad movie like The Room, where that's like the quintessential good bad movie of like it's just so fun to watch something that terrible.
Yeah.
But there are lines in here that get pretty damn close. Of like
right.
Like I honestly think her sitting down and feeding the cat the milk is like equivalent to the like, oh hi doggy. Like, her being like, us strays gotta stay together. Oh, you're hungry. Like the weird delivery is like chef's kiss.
I think for me, like the thing is too, like I couldn't watch this with anybody. No, do you know what I mean? Like The Room, I would be like, you have to see this. Like, even as someone who's like almost a film snob, like there's this, it's so bad it's good.
Yeah.
And this I could only put on again with somebody I know would just crack up over how bad it is.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like Zachar's a good audience for this.
yeah, like Zachar
Friend
would
of the
be
pod.
so mad about this movie. Jeff would be so angry.
That'd be
about
entertaining for me.
Yes, that's what I mean. Like, I've seen that guy just get annoyed with movies, and you're
Yeah.
like, and like this, like my buddy Mario. This would just be a get up and walk out kind of thing. Like, so like you have to have the right audience
Yeah,
for
that's
me.
true.
Like, I couldn't show certain people the movie because I know they would just not get it.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. But still, it was awesome watching with you two, which is generally the case with all of the things we watch.
Yeah.
No matter how good or bad it is, it's just like, that's the good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, have we shit on this movie enough where we could
Yeah, let's switch gears.
Let's switch gears a little bit. I feel like we
Yeah.
just went on a rant for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
We did. Why don't we let's get ready to finish this thing off,
We're
and
doing
let's try one.
degrees?
Let's try
Yeah.
one. I
Let's
think
do
I can
it.
do it. I think I'm mentally there
I
too.
have one
believe it.
ready.
You do.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Look at that.
Okay.
I am going with
Hold on. Does Brian have one too? If you say it too soon,
No, go
you
for
might
it.
let me start like
No.
thinking too
I
much.
think we're good, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Mine
Here you
is
go.
Kate Winslet.
Kate Winslet.
Kate Winslet.
Okay.
to Tom Hanks.
Kate Winslet to Tom Hanks. Okay, that shouldn't be too bad. All right, you ready?
I want
And
to see if I
done.
can do this one.
Okay, so that is going to be
Oh.
Kate Winslet to Leo DiCaprio in Titanic, Leo to Tom Hanks in Catch Me If You Can.
Oh yeah, that was an easy one.
Yay, I'm back. 2 seconds.
I was like, I think I could do this one, and you were like, I'm done. Okay, I can't even try. Good job. All
thanks.
right.
When you said Kate Winslet too, I triggered like 3 Kate Winslet things.
Yeah.
I literally was just like, all right, I'm like Titanic, movie 43, and I was
Holiday?
like, movie 43 is like that stupid like movie.
Oh no, I said The Holiday.
Oh, I wasn't thinking The Holiday. There was The Reader. Those were the 3 things that came up because I had Leo, I had Hugh Jackman, and I had Ralph Fiennes, and I was like, I will connect through there. And then you were like Tom Hanks, and I was like, okay, we got it.
Good job. Redeemed.
Nice.
Redeemed.
Nice.
Cool beans. I wish I had thought of The Holiday too. It just didn't trigger at the moment.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was delightful and was a pick me up. So I'm happy because I lost the last 4 in a row. So
Yeah. Good.
makes me feel good that I'm back, baby. All right. Well,
What was that face?
Brian just like was about to take, like took a deep breath, and I was like, oh.
Well, you took a breath too, and I was like,
I know.
what is he gonna do?
I was just gonna hand over to you.
Yeah. Listen, if you want to become part of our web and get tangled up in here with us while we're weaving and spinning,
Sucking
you
some
can
toes.
Sucking some toes. That's how we get our power. You can't get the power if you don't suck the toes. This has been since day one on Real Doofs. This is the stuff that they don't teach you in school. If you want the power, you gotta suck the toes. Ask Joe Rogan. He knows all about sucking the toes.
Podcast
And if you
101.
want to learn more, head to realdoofs.com. Click the secret link. Unlock the power of the toes. And also subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit the like button on our social media platforms. We're on all of them. Or the ones that are important anyways.
Yeah, say except for
and you can find the links at
the
realdoofs.com.
Twitters.
But thank you for listening to our silly podcast. And I hope we got you good on this one. Thinking this was going to be Oppenheimer or some shit.
He was
Oh.
with
In the...
yeah, he was in the Amazon with my mother when she was researching spiders before she died.
Nailed it.
I was like, how Brian, you said different words. You were kept nodding, and then Brian finally caught on, and then you both said separate things.
Say hi to Laura and Brian.
Hi,
Hi.
Brian. Hey, I want to red licorice.
You can't have a red licorice either.